What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS, part of Den Media Group, presented by the MFTK Foundation.com. MFTKFoundation.com is a go-to website for all things that are affiliated with the nonprofit. A lot of stuff that was going on, a lot of stuff in the works. We're about to get into book bag drive season, a bunch of other different things that we have going on to continue to be able to push everything forward as we gear up toward football season. No real big crazy and things chop it up about. Just if everybody could please take a second to like and subscribe, or like the show for today. Share it to your friend groups. Tell them Big Game and them are on. Outside of that, let's start our show off the same way we start our show off each and every day with a good word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great. All the time. All the time. Nobody wanna thank you, God. Thank you, God.
You guys heard that, man. Y'all better thank God. What we talking about today, Jaden?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another morning edition of Big Games BS here on Monday, May 18th. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And if you're wondering why it's called Big Games BS, it's because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. First things first, we have our continuation topics to touch up on in our MFTK section. And then after that, we're going to transition to some college football. We're going to talk about FSU first in somewhat of a heated conversation, I'm guessing, in terms of scheduling. And we're going to discuss some legal issues as well as some lists Twitter before getting into the NFL. No major news this weekend except for the Aaron Rodgers agreement with the Steelers. That's probably the biggest headline in the NFL. But don't worry, we will give you guys some facts and share some posts with you guys that you may not have known. And then we have our Big Games BS section where we bring the scope of the convo outside of the typical sports world. But today we have some sports topics we're going to touch on in our OG Island and RIP segments. But to kick off our Big Games BS section, we have our BS or Bussin' food review segment. Can't wait to share that with you all. Today is going to be a good one. But first, we do have some golf that James is going to discuss.
Yeah, still trying to get this get the golf bags up. Got some cool little ball markers, pause, with the logo on it. Trying to get some sponsors, get more golfers into it. Should be a good weekend, a good day of golf. It's not weekend, it's on a Monday. Trying to help raise money for book bag supplies. If you would try to help that out, promote that. Much appreciated. Anybody who's into golf.
And then you do have the Battle 16-team Florida versus Georgia 7v7 football classic you have up here. James, tell some more about the battle that is coming between Florida and Georgia.
What it is we're trying to, before we change the name, we're still trying to get some more Georgia teams involved. Got two really big schools in Creekside and Gainesville High School out of Georgia. Probably going to start making some flyers for announcements of teams committed. We will have 16 teams. We will be giving away $10,000. If you got a high school that you believe is one of the best in Florida, $500 up. One of the things that I would never like, to me, I'm going to take those odds. If I believe my team is one of everybody talks about having aspirations to win the state championship, right? If you feel like you have a team that is good enough to win a state championship, this needs to be what you need to do. $500, put it up. for the opportunity to win 10,000, 10 bands, a lot of other gear, some swag, not a lot of brain in it. If nothing else, you get your guys some good work. We will have a big man 5v5 there as well. Just looking to have teams be able to get in, get some really good work. You could play 5 games, or you can end up playing, I think with that, so we go, what's that, 4, it goes from 4 games to 2 games to 1 game. Yeah, so like you can play 5 games minimum or 7 to win it. So I'm hoping everybody gets to win. We're going to stream it, so that means I don't lose.
How does the 5v5 big man work?
So they're graded on points. So you have O-line and D-linemen. You have a certain amount of pass rushers, certain amount of people that block. And that's kind of how they do it. We'll probably have some other relays. And so it's like they're trying to get that popping off. That's the next phase
That's fire.
of 7-on-7 to get the bigs involved. And yeah, basically that's it.
Let's talk about the 2026 ACC Friday night football schedule, because FSU is on here 3 more times than I would like. But anyways, let's get through this schedule courtesy of Brett McMurphy. So we're going to start off with FSU, since this is part of the FSU topic. So take a look at weeks 6, week 11, and week 13. Those are the 3 weeks FSU will be playing on Friday nights. Week 6, Florida State at Louisville. Week 11, Florida State at Pitt. And this one should be no surprise. Week 13 against Florida, day after Thanksgiving. We usually have that game. But one thing I want to ask you, James, what do you think about FSU playing on Friday nights 3 times this season? And I'm lucky we're not going to NC State on a Friday night. That's all I'm happy for.
Without a doubt. The only thing I'll say is this, is that the way the new ACC contract money is constructed, the top 3 teams get the biggest payouts, right? So when you're having a game away from everybody else, where you're the only game on primetime for 2 of those games, it definitely helps continue to make Florida State one of the most watched teams in the ACC, which affect the money. Now, the only one I really have an issue with is playing on Black Friday. That game is a Saturday game. Play at 3:30 on Saturday. For all I care. But here's the reason why. The other 2 don't bother me because they're away games. This game bothers me because in the South, Fridays are pure. It's for high school football. And your best prospects are going to be making the playoff run. That is, I believe, the 3rd round of the 5-round playoff. So you need to be able to have that weekend for recruiting purposes. Even if the teams weren't playing, in order to get to Tallahassee for a 3:30 kick and be able to have unofficial visits, you're going to have to leave on Thursday, on Thanksgiving. So, like, you're pressing the travel time. I mean, I'm not one of those people that is going to gaslight you into believing that you need to spend more time with your family. One of the biggest problems with American capitalism is that we try to make it seem like you can only spend time with your family on certain holidays. Most of y'all don't like your family. So, like, if you were going to spend time with your family, you were going to do it anyway. And most of these people, believe it or not, the memories that I remember having are of Black Friday, on Thanksgiving. The men ate, and then we went to the living room and we watched the games. And then the women broke down the shit. And Miles has been there for us on Thanksgiving. To be honest with you, they were starting to go get prepared for Black Friday on Thanksgiving. And when they actually made it to where you can go shopping, they all left anyway. They cleared the house out. It made for peace. Nobody wanted to really be around that shit anyway. So, like, and Black Friday really doesn't exist because everybody buys shit online. Cyber Monday, shit, Cyber Weekend. Like, bro, I almost break out in hives when I have to go to a box store now. I'm so not used to it. If I want it, I'm gonna get it from Amazon, or I'm gonna go to the .com, BestBuy.com. Best Buy this. The only time is maybe if I want to fill out a TV, but it's easier. It's just, but like I just missed the opportunity for us to be able to host a proper weekend, and I'm not going to that shit on Black Friday. It still has I believe it has a option to where if one of these two teams are good, or if there's like some playoff implications, they can put it back to Saturday. But like, I just want y'all to stop acting like, because again, you know how I know America hates family? For years, for decades. And they're going back to what America needs is more family time. America needs God. America needs this. And they've been praying. They need to spend more time with your family. Spend more time with your family. Spend more time with your family. And God gives us an international pandemic where they said, spend 2 weeks, don't do anything for 2 whole weeks. We get this thing curbed. You know what everybody said? You can't tell me what to do. You can't force me to spend time with my family. How dare you? Domestic violence rates are going to go up because everybody's locked in the house. You've been praying, God answers prayers. Then he answered your prayer, and then your reaction to the prayer is get me the fuck away from these people. But I don't like that one. But, with some of the stuff going on, I really do wish Pitt was played on a Saturday, because I went to Pitt. Best time I had as a Gator Bowl representative. The stadium is beautiful. They're so hospitable. Whereas Clemson isn't. But like Pitt, knowing that the Gator Bowl is like one of the best bowls they can go to, they treated me the same way that the Orange Bowl gets treated. And I don't want to go to Louisville, Kentucky. Again, I hate that stadium. But Pitt, I really do it because I would probably go to that. Hold on, that's week. What day is the Pitt game? Week 11. Let's say November 13th. Oh, I think that's the first round of the playoffs. So that sucks. So I might not be able to make that one either. But
we have a like father, like son moment with Charles Woodson Jr. So Charles Woodson Jr., the class of 2027 safety and the son of Michigan great Charles Woodson, has committed to Michigan. So he chose Michigan, gonna follow his dad's footsteps, and he had these list of D1 offers to choose from. FSU was on that list, but the class of 2020 safety chose to follow in his dad's footsteps and go to the Big Blue. So shout out to Charles Woodson Jr. and shout out his pops, man. Just wanted to share this with everybody.
I mean, that's awesome. We already know where he's going. They're not going to fuck it up. Like, they know how to honor the greats. I mean, he might not be anywhere near as good as his daddy. But, like, they're going to at least give him the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of this shit is like, this recruiting shit ain't as hard as what people make it. Like, yeah, like, we want that. Yeah.
We got it. Oh, my bad. I did not. Yeah.
Do people say that anymore?
Kiss babies and
no, like that. They don't say babe. Like, that's a babe right there. That's so old. Like I feel like I feel like I get the right to say old shit now because I have the old. Well, it can either be Dominican. It's Dominican for half the day until the humidity frizzes it out, and then I just become an old black man with a box fade.
We have an update on the Brennan Sorsby situation per Ross Dellinger. So, if you guys don't remember, it became revealed that Sorsby made thousands of bets during his time at Indiana as a freshman QB. And it seems like attorneys representing Texas Tech QB Brandon Sorsby have notified the NCAA with a request for an expedited resolution to reinstating his eligibility over sports gambling allegations and informing the association that a legal challenge is imminent. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. So it looks like the attorneys want to speed things up so Sorsby can get out on that field with his squad and hopefully have his eligibility. But this is just one of the many updates surrounding the Brennan Sorsby gambling allegation situation with him and the NCAA. James, it looks like his attorneys want to speed things up for Sorsby.
They got to, because they got to know if they're either going to try to push for the supplemental draft and really hope that the NFL will take him for still breaking one of the fundamental rules in sports in general. Or can he get one more year? Either way, he's just kicking the can down the road. Probably gonna get way more money for him right now in college than it is in the pros. This NIL, not NLI. That Twitter account annoys the fuck out of me. Like, I just want people to realize it's like, why are they doing this when he broke one of the more fundamental rules? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Like, when you break a rule, I'm gonna put it like this: Bryson Wright, right? Bryson got suspended for the first playoff game. He got two. The last personal, what do they call it? The last penalty that he got was ticky tack at the end of the game, and it was bullshit. And probably should have never put him in a position to do that dumb stuff. But he did get suspended, and we put in the appeal. We put in all the information so that he didn't get a long-term suspension, and they got one game. It came out to a one-game suspension, right? Fair. But you can appeal. And his dad had a legitimate gripe. The school didn't appeal. Well, we know he did it, but it's not your job. You know, like, you can't get any worse than one game suspension. We're serving that. You appeal so that you can get a no game suspension. Yeah, well, he was dead the fuck wrong, but you still appeal. It's just like if you go to jail right now and you murdered someone, right? Are you going to just say, man, you know what? I did it. Just shoot the needle in me, right? No. You say not guilty like a normal person. And it's the attorney's job, knowing that you dead ass fucking wrong, to try to get you off. Pause. Crazy. So, yeah, it's insane. But it's the point of, like, doing this. But, like, you know, like, shoot. You know, it's a fundamental part of being American. Is to manipulate the judicial system. Like, people forget these things, man. Like, when it's not their money.
Have some more legal news as well. Still with Ross Dellinger coming through with the news. So the CSC, aka College Sports Commission, has won its arbitration case against Nebraska. So this was on May 11th, 2026. A neutral arbitrator has issued a final binding decision affirming the CSC application of the rules in connection with third-party NIL agreements between Playfly and student athletes at the University of Nebraska. The neutral arbitrator found that the CSC properly determined that Playfly is an associated entity and properly determined not to clear the NIL deals at issue based on a lack of a valid business purpose, including a violation of the rule against warehousing NIL rights. Upon the completion of the process, the impacted student athletes are now able to submit revised third-party NIL deals that comply with the rules for the CSC's review. Quote, "We are pleased with the arbitrator's decision to affirm the CSC's fact-based application of the rules," unquote, said Brian Seeley, the CEO of the CSC.
Well, that's interesting because and this is where the NCAA has the game fucked up. because I remember talking with people about this stuff. Paying athletes is not illegal. Not at all. There's nothing illegal about paying athletes. The NCAA technically is a oversight, but they're not, and they calling themselves a governing body. But you also still have to abide by the rules that the states live in. And the state of Nebraska has rules where they say it's not illegal. These deals aren't illegal. So, and more than likely, these kids are gonna get paid. And nobody's gonna give a shit because Nebraska's like, we're playing for a natty this year anyway. And it's just, again, I'm not mad at the JIT's lawyers for pushing this. I'm not mad at NCAA's, but like the difference between the NCAA and the kid is every one of these things is more opportunity for Congress and them to realize they are running a monopoly. And if they're running a monopoly, that's when you get hit with antitrust laws and you lose your nonprofit status. It's like at some point, they're going to have to leave well enough alone and really try to figure this shit out the right way, as opposed to blocking good old-fashioned American capitalism. Because if I be damned if somebody tell me who I can and who I cannot pay. I think that's bullshit.
We got some more news, James, coming from Ross Dellinger as well. Yahoo Sports has been on their P's and Q's when it comes to the NIL legal landscape, and 26 of the 32 D1 conference commissioners sent a letter to Senators Maria Cantwell and Ted Cruz supporting their potential Senate bill to regulate college sports. A reminder, the senators remain in negotiations and an agreement has not been reached yet. But James, look at the first name on that list to your top left, our own commissioner, Mr. Phillips, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Benedict Arnold, punk ass, Mark ass, sucker ass, dick in the booty ass, Fruitville Station ass. I don't even know what else to call him. Like, I hate that dude, man. I hate that guy. Like, but it kind of does. It's making my decision for me. So Florida State I always joke, Florida State, when it comes time to recruit my sons, they're going to call my friend Bernie. They're not going to call me. But in light of everything happening, I don't believe the onus should be on the kids to initiate change in our country. But I do know that nothing has been done in America without violence and pocketbooks being tapped. So I ain't going to hold you. Trey is looking, we're looking for him to be in a place where there's family. That opens up the Northeast and that opens up the Midwest. And maybe the left coast-ish. But I ain't gonna hold you. If Ohio State offers my son, Trey's going to Ohio State. It doesn't matter if Florida State's in the mix. Not enough money going to be on the table to keep us in the South. And I love Florida. I love Florida State. I ain't going to hold you. These laws don't affect me and won't affect our family in this generation. But they will affect it in generations to come. So we got to reset ruts. I'm moving to Panama when Kai's gone. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Or the Dominican. I'm going somewhere where it's sunny and there's water. And my little bit of pennies could go a lot longer there. But like, I'd be damned if y'all gonna re-enslave my I can't do none of that stuff. But that's kind of tongue-in-cheek joke. But if you notice, there were two conferences not on that, right? There was no SEC and no Big Ten, right?
No SEC or Big Ten commissioners signed off on this.
They're telling you everything that you need to know. Now, there are a lot of schools that are going bankrupt, but that's not an athletics problem as much as this school was never designed to be elitist and as expensive as it is. That's why schools are losing money, because people are like, why would I spend $100,000 to just go, the $100,000 to go make 35? It's counterproductive. But I'll say this, eventually it's going to be the SEC versus the Big Ten. And it's because of who's at the head and who's in the leadership and who's out here trying to really make this bread. The ACC is making moves to not be of the ACC. I mean, to not be of capitalism, to be a dinosaur, to be a second-tier conference. It might as well be the P2 and G everybody else. And that's aggravating.
We have the average total revenue per team in each conferences since we're on that conference talk. So I want to repeat again, this is the average team total revenue per conference per EADA reports for the fiscal year 2025. So for the average revenue in millions for the SEC, for an SEC squad, $215.5 million. Have the Big Ten right under that with $187.3 million. Then you have the ACC rounding out the top three with $161.8 million, but big drop off between the Big 12 and the new Pac-12 right there for you guys. But just wanted to share this with you guys. And the source is the Equity in Athletics Data Analysis, EADA. If you see that on Twitter, that's been circulating a lot lately in terms of NIL and revenue numbers. So EADA, Equity in Athletics Data Analysis, is that source for you guys. And this is for the fiscal year 2025. Any surprising numbers in this list or surprising differences in revenue from one conference to another, James?
I'm shocked that I thought the Big Ten would be a little higher. But that doesn't overall, it doesn't surprise me who the top three are, or really the top five. I mean, that's why it was called the Power Five for so long. But the fact that the ACC, the new Pac-12 essentially is double that of is less than double of it's less than half of the Pac of the Big 12 is alarming, and only a few points higher than the American. It just shows you that it's a stark difference, and it goes back to what athletic director Mike Alford said about 3 years ago now, roughly, I believe, that we can't give up $50 million on average to our rival institutions. And if you look at it, if it's 161.8, Florida, that means Florida State or most ACC schools are giving up about $50 million to the next one. And that's just covered in TV contracts. So that's why you have to have somebody that can kind of generate some different alternative sources of revenue. I really believe that FSU owning secondary rights to their broadcasts, even though we're kind of putrid right now, are missing on a great golden opportunity. Used to be Jefferson Pilot Sports, used to be the Sunshine Network. I don't think you were alive when the Sunshine Network was hopping, Jaden, but that used to be one of my favorite channels to watch. The Sunshine Network would be where you go on Sundays and you can watch a rebroad of all the games on Saturday with the slant to your team. So you would have the it was Peter Tom Willis and Gene Deckeroff doing the broadcast of the game, and Gene would be like, they're in heavy formation. The H-back goes into motion. The ball is snapped. Hand it off number 36. Touchdown, James Coleman. Peter Tom was like, I see you, 3-6. And every time somebody score his thing, I see you, whatever the number it is. I see you. And you will watch that shit. You will watch state championships on that. You will do all kinds of different things. And what Florida State really should do with this app that they have, or like some of this content, and that's why you see content is king. People love consuming that. They got to do a little bit more with that so that people can go and watch that, as opposed to, obviously you can watch that shit on YouTube. YouTube got the game changed. Matter of fact, just put the condensed version of the game on that. And I'd buy your app. Because right now, I didn't do it at all last year. I ain't breaking down shit when they looking that bad. I might do it because I'm bored, but like I was telling somebody, I watch a lot of shitty football. Last thing I want to do is watch shitty football twice. So I'm watching Florida State live. Damn sure don't want to watch that shit again. But it would help if you knew you had that. More people would consume that, which brings you more revenue. But they got to be able to catch up on that $50 million gap annually. And like, it's not like how the Big 12 has the opportunity to take like a $30 million payday loan on their stuff. You don't want a shot in the arm one time. You want to be able to do it consistently. Unfortunately, Florida State got the fucking rules for the ACC in their favor, and we can't capitalize on it. Like, imagine Florida State doing what Miami did. They would have got number one in the conference. They would have got the bulk share of the TV revenue, and you would have got every fucking penny of your playoff rounds, which would have been crazy, a crazy shot in the arm. You would have been on par with SEC schools now.
Let's break up this conversation a little bit and talk about List's Twitter. Now, I wanted to share this with you all because I know this would spur some conversations and may even spur some controversy. But we got this post from the College Football Report at CFB Report ranking the best offenses of the CFP era. Now, there is 30 teams on this list, but James, I want you to pick your top 5 college football offenses since the CFP era.
Oh, okay. I was looking at this the wrong way. No, this is any offense. Florida State's 24. Didn't Florida State's 2014 offense do really well? Florida? So it didn't even matter if they made the playoffs or not. It just means they were in it. Okay. LSU's definitely number one then. The Alabama team had a lot of superstars on it. Um 2022 Ohio State, was that when they had my Nick Jigbo in there, right? Or was that 23?
I think 22 was in Jigba.
Yeah, he was that Nick Jigba in college too. They also had Marvin Harrison. Still remember that combine where everybody was mad that he didn't show up to it. Washington's offense. Washington should be on here twice, though. Both times that they made the CFP, they performed, their offenses were pretty legit. I mean, that list is pretty good.
Just wanted to share this post with you guys. Get List's Twitter going in the chat. Wanted to see what everybody in the chat thought of this list in your rankings. Before we slide on to more college football topics, almost done with this section. Then we'll head on over to the NFL. But speaking of college and the NFL, let's take a look at Thanksgiving, because this is the Thanksgiving week of football across college and the NFL. You have the Packers and Rams on November 25th. Then on Thanksgiving, you have TSU, Texas Tech. You have the Bears, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, and the Bills. Then on Friday, on the Black Friday games, you got Nebraska versus Iowa, classic matchup. You had the matchup weekends right here. Nebraska and Iowa, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, the Florida Gators and Seminoles, then Texas and Texas A&M. This is your rivalry week. And then you also have the Broncos and Steelers. On that Saturday, November 28th, you have some great games. Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Georgia, all of the rivalries you can think of. And then on Sunday, you have some NFL games as well, starting with the Jags. Let's start with them. They have their AFC South division game against the Tennessee Titans as well. But just wanted to share this with you guys. I know Thanksgiving is a long time ahead, but with these schedules being released, we wanted to show you guys how great Thanksgiving football will be for this year. Super excited about seeing these squads during this weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. Obviously I'll be at the Jags Titans game, but like now I'm like, man, hit my boy Hove up. I might go to that Kentucky Louisville game. Might have to hit him up on that one. Go make that a football weekend. If we not, I don't think it'll be. I think park ball will be over. Hopefully, high school ball will still be going. Man, that's a good. Yeah, aren't you happy? Like I know everybody's upset. Well, not everybody, but my Miami fans are happy. Florida State fans. I just like football. So football season makes me smile because there's always something like, look at that. How can you not be happy with that? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, because you have Monday Night Football. All but one day of that week, you have sports. You have football on. Well, sports, because everything else is not really sports. But you have sports on every day of the week. And I'm sure somebody's playing on that Tuesday. I just don't know. Who.
Courtesy of CFB Home, you have two rankings for the top 2026 CFB QBs coming into this season. So you have NCAAF Nation 247 and CFB Home ranking their top QBs for
That's
this.
so funny that my guys CFB Home, like just seeing where they've come from since COVID. It's just, that's wild.
COVID is like A, B, and B, C. It's such
yeah. It's like people who put work in. Sorsby shouldn't be on the list until he's eligible. Chambliss is. They really don't. They hate Arch. I thought I was a big Arch hater. They really hate Arch. I'm putting Trinidad James at 1. Mensa is top 5 to me. It's some really poo-poo quarterbacks. Jeez. Wow. Man, that's yeah, I got nothing for you, Jen. Saying you gotta put Chambliss, Trinidad James, Mensa, saying. I guess more because I just remember him being highly ranked, but he's coming on a loaded team. And then and I'm not gonna be that big of a hater on Arch to where I don't have him as a top 5 quarterback. The kid from USC should be good because of Lincoln Riley. Eventually, Lincoln Riley's got to find that same magic that he had at Oklahoma, right? But I don't really believe that just quarterback play. Like this is the downside to all the NIL stuff and the rush to get kids to commit and the lack of development of the quarterback position, because man, it is stinky. If that's the top 12 quarterbacks, yeah. Again, it also goes to show you what I've always said is that the quarterback is not the most important position on the football field.
Now that we finish up college football, let's break into the NFL. Before we get into the biggest news of the weekend, let's recap some funny moments courtesy of the Jaguars. Now, they did prank us because when the schedule's released on Thursday, the video of Trevor Lawrence went viral with his new haircut, but we shortly found out that it was a prank. Yes, it was a prank. He wore a wig for the Jags scheduled release video. Man, I'm so happy this is true. And from the video, he was actually saying that he really doesn't know what to do with his hair. He's been growing it for so long, and he doesn't know whether he should cut it or not. But this was a wig.
He looks like he looked like Ann Coulter with hair, and without it. It just depends on the angle, but either way, he looks like an ugly woman. And that's just not a good look for everybody. But yeah.
Just wanted to share that with you guys. It was a prank. Yes, it was a prank. Shout out to the Jaguars, though, and shout out to all the rookies. You will not see a Jags player in this photo because, one, we did not have a first round pick this year. But anyways, not going to harp on the past. Let's talk about the future and talk about the 2026 NFLPA Rookie Premiere. They have their annual photos from the rookie class, and they have some notable players in this picture as well who weren't first round prospects, more the flashy names like you see right there next to number 8, behind number 89 in the Chargers, in the number 10 Jets jersey. That's Cade Klubnik, the Clemson quarterback. Not a first round pick, but more of a household name, if you will. But you have some notable players on this list. Looks like Fernando Mendoza is one of the only people smiling, one of 3 people to be smiling in this picture. He's in the back right. You can see my cursor right here next to Eli Stowers as well. But this is the 2026 NFLPA Rookie Premier Annual Class photo. Which players, James, are you excited to see from this rookie class? I know you are definitely excited to see number 4 for the Arizona Cardinals in action with Carson Beck at that QB spot as well.
I'm very intrigued. The Cardinals might have pulled off the best draft of all these teams if they're able to slow down the offense and be able to get Carson on the track that they would like him to be on. But good running game. I've always good D and top will win you a lot of things in life. So, you just got to have some good D. You got to get some good time. You got to get good time of possession. And you got to just bust it in between the tackles. Like right up in there. Spread the gap. Blow it up. That's how you win. The game is not played downfield as much as what people want to believe. And just the teams that figure this out are going to be the teams that have a lot more money to be able to distribute to their key players to make their quarterback look good. Quarterback's going to always get the most hype, but this is just the reality.
Some other notable players in this picture. You have Taylon Green, the quarterback who made headlines at the combine all the way in the back, the 6'6" quarterback from Arkansas as well. Then you have Jacoby Lane, number 6 for the Baltimore Ravens. USC wide receiver, was teammates with Mekhi Lemon up front in that number 9 Eagles uniform as well. You got Garrett Nussmeier wearing number 14 for the Chiefs, standing next to Alabama QB Ty Simpson as well in that second row. But this is your annual class photo from the 2026 NFLPA Rookie Premiere. So just wanted to share that with you guys before we get into the biggest news of the weekend. It's finally over for Steelers fans. You have some closure. And Aaron Rodgers has reached an agreement worth up to $25 million per sources. The deal is expected to include a base salary between $22 and $23 million, with up to a few million more in incentives. So, yes, Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers have reached an agreement. They are expected to sign a deal worth up to $25 million, but that is with the incentive. So the deal is expected to include a base salary between $22 and $23 million. James, the 42-year-old quarterback, is expected to get up to $25 million from the Steelers. Just want to read you the Steelers quarterbacks who are also on their roster as well. You do have Will Howard, who won the national championship with Ohio State. He is on that squad. You have Mason Rudolph. We all remember what happened with him. He does not like helmets or Myles Garrett. And then they also have Drew Allard, James. I don't know if you remember him, but he was a Penn State quarterback this year. Got that serious injury. Now he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't have to move far from Penn State to Pittsburgh, but James, it looks like they're going to be getting some guidance from the 42-year-old Super Bowl winner, multiple MVP winner, Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, he didn't steal money from kids and poor people in Mississippi, but he is stealing money from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he's going down that Brett Favre trajectory.
Got a black man fired.
He definitely got a black. He's not racist. He's race-ish. So him and Mason would do wonders together. They'll be perfect. Because the one thing about the Mason Rudolph situation that we've all seen has Myles Garrett. Sometimes you got to slap a bitch with a helmet. Myles Garrett's life has completely flourished ever since that time. And one of the trying, you want to know if a quarterback is loved? Look at what happened. Did anybody, I mean, I get it. Myles Garrett, large mammal, pretty scary. Not one person came to his aid.
Right.
If you just let your quarterback get early onset CTE with his helmet, not Myles Garrett's helmet. Myles Garrett took his helmet and hit him. He had that shit coming. You got a Muslim. I don't really know if he's Muslim, but Hamdu Allah or whatever they be saying.
Oh, Lord.
Like Drew Allah, just the name, it's an airport name. And then Will Howard's just mid. That room is terrible. No wonder they had to pay this man that kind of money. It's awful.
Sorry about that. And I do just want to say sorry to all my Steelers fans out there. I feel like, man, this franchise is going to endure a lot of things they weren't expecting to in the next couple of seasons, just with their team, especially with Mike Tomlin leaving and just seeing how this historic franchise continues to try and be successful in this upcoming NFL seasons. But man, sorry for all of my Steelers fans out there, and sorry for whoever is trying to get to these games according to Yahoo Sports, because these are your most expensive games in the NFL for the 26-27 season in terms of median ticket price. So what does that mean? That means if you line up all the ticket prices in a row, you choose the one that's directly in the middle. So for Your first expensive game, you have the most expensive game, excuse me, in terms of median ticket price. It is the Lions and Bills game at September 17th, $1,230 for your median ticket price. And you do have tied for second the Bears and Packers, and then you have the Chiefs at the Bills, October 11th and November 26th, each $1,025 in terms of median ticket price. Then you have the Sunday night football matchup between Cowboys and the Packers on October 18th. Then lastly, to round out your top five, you have the Super Bowl rematch between the Patriots and the Seahawks, September 9th at the Seahawks. Just want to add that two of these games are Thursday night football games, and one is a Sunday night football game as well. But with the Bears and Packers, that is an NFC North matchup, so that explains why it is a little more expensive than the rest historic matchup right here. But James, these are your most expensive NFL games in terms of median ticket price. I just wanted to share with everybody before we get into some more news. But any surprising matchups on this list, in your opinion?
Not all of those are rabid fan bases that are good. Minus the Cowboys, but like they're good enough to be able to like, yeah, like it's good enough to be able to keep stuff.
Yep, especially for Bears fans. I know you guys are happy with what Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are doing for that franchise. It's good to see Chicago be good at football, man. It's a good feeling. So shout out to everybody on this list. Hope you can get those tickets with everything going up. And it's ironic we mentioned the Cardinals, James, because of Carson Beck and company, because of Jeremiah Love and company. But it looks like they have a hard road this year in terms of winning, because the Arizona Cardinals are the only NFL team that is currently an underdog in all 17 games this season. What does that mean for all of my non-bettors out there? That means they are not favored to win in all of their games this season, including 8 as a double-digit underdog. Man. Cardinals hopefully not looking to lose all 17 games this season, but they are a double-digit underdog in 8 of their 17 games, James. Is that crazy or what?
In a league that's supposed to be built on parity, the fact that you are an underdog like that is insane.
Definitely insane. It looks like
they could be tanking for Arch.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't seen too many Cardinals games, but I did see somebody in the chat. I think it was Sportsmark put this. I'm gonna put it on the jumbo screen, but said Trey Benson, FSU running back, was about to get his opportunity. Then the Cardinals drafted Love. I know Benson was starting to get more familiar with the run game, but if you were the Arizona Cardinals GM, you would pick Jeremiah Love too. So just the name of the
over. Jeremiah loves. I love Trey to death.
Right.
Very fond of Trey Benson. But Jeremiah's got better vision. Trey was going if there wasn't a hole there, Trey was gonna make it. And that's just not good. Like eventually people get tired of that shit. You gotta warm it up. You can't just jam it in there, man. Yeah. Like to quote Pimp C, you can't be up there just busting up people's backsides and then come around acting like you a straight up G. Just jokes, Trey. I love you to death, man. But like, I ain't gonna hold you, dog. He's pretty good.
We got some news, everybody. So for all of my Nashville fans, Nashville stands out there, you may be seeing, bless you, a Super Bowl coming to your desired city. So the NFL owners, according to Ian Rappaport, are expected to vote at this Tuesday's Spring League meeting on Nashville hosting the Super Bowl in February of 2030. This would be Super Bowl LXIV. Sources tell me and Mike Garofalo. So this would be the first time hosting for the Music City, a showcase for that new Titans stadium. James, what do you think about Nashville possibly hosting the Super Bowl in 2030? I hear a lot of good things, a lot of praises about the city of Nashville.
Great city. Nash Vegas is amazing. Would not recommend driving there. Having just done that recently. Terrifying. Especially if you've never driven up a mountain. Never driven up a mountain when it's cold. The potential to be snowing. I don't think the NFL is going to ever learn their fucking lesson about not having this, not having this during either not having a game that's meant to be played outdoors during the wintertime. Like, it's a lot of partying, it's a lot of all this stuff. But like I just like I'll fly in there. I'm never driving there again. But as far as Nash Vegas is amazing. That's what they call it. It's plenty. The key to hosting a Super Bowl is to have a lot of hotels within the 2-hour proximity of the location. That is why Jacksonville will not get another Super Bowl anytime soon. Nobody has invested into the downtown or the area surrounding the stadium. There's just not enough hotels here. If somebody would come in and build between now and because believe it or not, 2030 isn't that far off. But between what we 2026, if somebody came and said we got a 10-year plan, like what Wawa did for hotels. Like Wawa came in. I remember when the threat of Wawa was coming. Wawa made every gas station in Jacksonville step their game up. They're like, at least on my side of town. Yeah. This this Shell gas station around the corner from my house, trash. Until they said they were bringing Wawa in. And then Wawa not only told you they were coming into town, they told you where all the potential Wawa locations were going to be. We just got that Wawa about 2 years ago, I think, around the corner from here. But it made them change their game, step their game up about 6-7 years ago. Like they got, you can go get a cold cut sandwich in there. The bathrooms are routinely a little bit cleaner than what it used to be. They got specials because Wawa came in and changed the game. Now, when you come in and say Marriott says Marriott, Hilton, what's the one that Holiday Inn is in? Or hell, even Choice Hotels with the cheap ass La Quintas and all that stuff. Like somebody needs to come in and you gotta like step the game up at the hotels. It's not only gonna help for the Super Bowl, it's gonna help get you all other kind of events. Nobody wants to stay here. Nobody wants to come here because there ain't no hotels and there ain't no real nightlife. And every time you get some nightlife, it's a potential for you to get shanked or shot. If they would have and again, it's hey, call it what you will. I'm not here to bash anybody's faith or what they do, but First Baptist ran downtown for so long, and it's why Jacksonville is stuck in the place that they're in. Like if you would have, so things that would have, again, and you can go look this up. I'm not making this shit up. And I'll just tell you this, Miles and Jaden. Do y'all know where the original home for Disney World was supposed to be?
Couldn't be here.
Jacksonville. Jacksonville was known as a carny town.
Well, they had
this was the first Hollywood before Hollywood.
That's crazy.
They had the space. But Mayor Ed Ball said, "I don't want that circus shit here in my town." So they moved it. They didn't do that. Florida Coastal is no longer around, but they were supposed to have a major law school downtown. University of Florida wanted to build a campus downtown. The town center was originally earmarked to be downtown. Imagine if you've been to Jacksonville, the St. John's Town Center is it's such a creative idea that they have replicated it on every fucking side of town in Jacksonville. Oakleaf has a town center. Durban said Durban has a town center. And you know what happens? Everywhere there's a town center, the property values go up and people go there. People like being able to just park their car and walk outdoors and do all these different things. It's Wawa is bold. Wawa just lets their nuts hang and says, bitch, do something about it. Like, and they come in and drop the gas prices as soon as they come in. But like, if you would just, you got to build it. And Shad is going to do something, but Shad Khan's building a Ritz-Carlton downtown. Not sure if any of you guys have stayed. You know, most of us didn't know what Ritz-Carlton was until Plies made a song about it. They're not cheap hotels. They're nice, but they're not cheap hotels. And I'm not paying $700 a night to stay in fucking downtown Jacksonville.
Right.
It makes absolutely no sense. Don't care what the view is. Don't care how nice you make it. Right now, I ain't doing that. But like, if you build hotels, they got nice little eateries, but it's not consistent enough. And the stadium isn't really downtown Jacksonville. The stadium is downtown adjacent. But like, it's just nothing there. Like, it's just nothing for you to do. So we won't have a Super Bowl until we get something to do.
Moving on, we got some news for you guys in terms of defensive coverages. So we're going to highlight Draft Vogel's X account because he decided to break down the NFL coverage landscape from the 2000s until now. And there's some great information we wanted to share with you guys. I know for all of my casual football fans listening, this may be a lot of football verbiage we're about to spiel out to you guys on the stream, but don't worry, we're going to do our best to break things down for you guys and trying to describe this infographic right here, courtesy of, like I said, Draft Vogel. So in his caption, he said the NFL is moving toward heavy match coverage usage over the last few seasons, which means that you have man principles in zone, man-to-man principles in zones. That's what match coverage means. And he said we've seen the priority shift in the NFL draft at that position. Match is easier to learn and harder to beat because it's reactionary, according to Vogel. It encourages defenders to play more free and read with their eyes. Here's a good look at how the shift has gotten to that point over the last 25 years. So let's start in the 2000s when James was in the league around that 2000s era. So foundation of man was heavy in that time, run heavy era for sure. Man coverage was the default. So there, according to Draft Vogel, there's an estimated 52% primary coverage snap for man coverage, 8% match, and 40% for zone. So some of these common coverages are man coverage, cover two high zone. That's where we have split safeties, if you will, and cover three, which is pretty much where you split the field into thirds. Now transition from the 2000s to the 2010s, you have the rise of zone. You see zone is a great majority of those coverage snap percentages with 58% rather than the 52% for man. And then you see match gaining a little bit more momentum, but man is 30% during the 2000s. So during this time, pass volume increased and zone became the backbone. So some of these common coverages are cover three, cover four, quarter, split the field in four, and cover two high zone. But now with the rise of the match standard or the match process during the 2022-2025 match becomes a standard because why? We have complex offenses that requires complex answers, and match zone is now the identity. So you can see right here with the primary coverage snap percentage, match increased to 35%, but zone still 45%, and man 20%. So some common coverages are cover 1 robber, cover 3 match, and quarters match as well. You can see the shift in the man, zone, and match coverages in that box below. And what's driving the change? It's a pass heavy league, more 11 personnel, 1 running back, 1 tight end, more spread offense as well. That means the offense is more spread out, usually an empty set, which means that the quarterback is by himself in the backfield, no running back. Everybody is trying to get that pass. Athletic offenses, creativity and motion, stress man coverage, defensive versatility, match concepts, let defenses play fast and stay in structure, and you have explosive plays as well. Zone and match reduce bust versus chunk plays. And what's the bottom line? The NFL is moving from who you cover, man, to how you cover, match. Flexibility, communication, multiplicity. That's the new standard. James, what do you think about the information presented by Draft Vogel and the information that he wanted to make a little bit more digestible and easy to understand for those maybe not so football savvy fans out there?
I mean, it definitely makes it easier to break down. It's also styles make fights, and then people mimic. So I always joke, good D, good running game win you a lot of championships, regardless of what happens. 2000s, when you think about the defenses ruled the era more than the quarterback did. What do you mean by that, James? I present to you the Baltimore Ravens. I believe they won 2 during that time. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that won 1, and you have the New York Giants that won 2. All 3 teams very, very defensive dominated. Brought a lot of pressure to the quarterback, collapsed the pocket, and then they had a good running game, good ground game. What happens is offenses have to adjust, and you have to adapt, and then you also have to adapt to the kind of quarterback that you get. High school, and normally what happens in the NFL filters down to college, filters down to high school, and it kind of did from a training perspective. See, in the 2000s, I didn't know how to watch film until I got to college. I had no idea how to break down film like that. You also didn't have the regular availability to be able to watch film. There was no YouTube. Internet was still in its infancy. Your crib copies were DVD players. Well, you know what you had to have to watch a DVD? To watch a DVD, you had to have a DVD player. Some of us didn't have those. I got one because I had a PlayStation 2. That's the only reason we had one in my house. And that was in my room. I paid for that shit working the watermelon farm my junior year. But my high school gave us VHSs, and man, we wasn't watching that shit. But when I got to college and you learn about ODK, which is offense, defense, kicking, and they break down the film into the ODK, and you could go into the room and you can break down the clips and watch it over and over again. That's when I started learning how to watch the game. Now, fast forward, high schools shifted from VHS, and you literally a coach having to drive Saturday morning to go meet another high school coach halfway to be able to exchange the last 2 copies of the film. That's how people used to get their game clips. Well, now you have schools that they got Huddle. So now you have the same capability as what you have in college and pro. Now on a high school level, you have a lot of former college guys coming back to coach high school, a lot of former pro guys coming back to coach high school. You have the combine training, because that's when I was in that wave, coming to where high school kids could get the same type of training as elite athletes. So now the athlete is getting smarter. The athlete is getting faster. The athlete is able to do more things than what they would normally been able to do. So now you went from high school where everybody ran the wing tee to now they're starting to throw the ball a little bit more because you can explain it. You have more time. You have a more applicable, like hell, Huddle would break down blitz percentages and a whole bunch of other different things. So what happens is offenses in the NFL have to adjust to the kind of smarter quarterback because they went from running wing tee to now it's just spread. It's the spread tee. The more you put your best athlete is your quarterback. You snap the ball, get it, and then you can throw it or you can run. But now you're getting the game better, so they have to adapt to it. So when you play man and you have a quarterback like Mike Vick that can scramble, or you have other quarterbacks that can scramble, it starts fucking you up. So now how do you counteract that? You counteract that by having your defense play more zone. Also, how do you counteract not having a bunch of fast track guys with good hips? You run zone. Who was the defense that everybody wanted to mimic in 2010 in the teens? Legion of Boom. They ran a variation of cover 3. And that was something that Pete Carroll was able to do it. A lot of draft capital, not heavy on the investment in money. They were able to be that dominant team in the 2010s. Also, when you look at what New England was able to do, we hear about the conversations now between Deion and Asante Samuel. For some reason, we're putting them in the same boat. Have no fucking clue. It's not that Asante Samuel's not good. I have yet to hear a kid say, man, I want to grow up to be like Asante Samuel. Asante Samuel ain't dropped no shoes that even make Deion's haters going by him. Exactly. That's when okay, that's when you've lost the argument. Your son doesn't want to, well, there's other reasons why, but the point is, your son don't want to be you. He want to be Deion. But the Patriots, a lot of these different teams made these different things happen. Now you come to spread offense, very, very good athletes, DBs the DBs with good hips, but still having quarterbacks that can move, and also having running backs that are being utilized in the passing game more. Match coverage looks like man when done properly. And what all it is you get to your zone. If nobody's in your zone, to quote Kobe, right, fine work. So what used to happen is you would drop to your zone and okay, I'm in my, and you'll see it. I see it in the 7-on-7 all the time. They'll just stay there. And meanwhile, somebody's coming back. No, you get to your zone. There's no threat. Fine work. It's either behind you or it's right in front of you. But you got to find work. And we ran cover 3 with a match, but the best example of it, especially making it really look like man, is quarters. Quarters is basically man coverage if you run it with a match. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that the defenses will adapt to the offense very, very, very fast. And but that's why, like, also we used to run robber a lot at Florida State early on, but like robber is basically, like you can run that, and the weak spots in your zone, especially if you're not running a match, the weak spots in your zone are basically where, we always tell the DB, remember, you have help here. So when we ran robber, my son ran it. Like my son's interception that went viral. That's basically our robber technique. All our DBs knew the help was to the inside. So the minute he sees a flash of weakness, you got to go. You got to go rob. And I think that's kind of where it is. And the prevalence of the passing game is because they're attacking the rules. The game is not softer. The game is just being legislated to make the passing game more attractive to the viewer. See, you could get away with, like, I can change your whole passing game very, very fast. Gonna run through your motherfucking face mask one good time, and you ain't gonna go across the middle no more. They used to call it alligator arms. Now you hit a kid too hard, you hit somebody too hard, they're gonna throw a flag because some I can't even call them liberals, because the liberals aren't the ones that make the most noise about it, believe it or not. It's the so-called conservatives that aren't soft. Those are the ones who cry the most about their baby not getting no awards and no shit like that. So, like, they try to make the game less violent, and that's never going to happen. But that's a really good. I like when you get charts like that can kind of help explain a complex situation. It gives you a little bit more ammunition to make it simpler.
These are the squads that will be playing in America's Game of the Week. It is I would say a title that's been given to what America's Game of the Week is. A lot of Cowboys games are in that mix, but let's take a look at the squads who are going to be playing in America's Game of the Week. You have the Commanders, no surprise there. Lions, Cowboys, also no surprise. Packers, Seahawks, Niners, Bengals, Eagles, Bears, Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs. But just wanted to share that with you guys and also share this too because OTAs are starting for these 8 squads today. That is the Bills, Cardinals, Dolphins, Falcons, Raiders, Ravens, Steelers, and Titans. So shout out
Damn,
to
it is
these.
that time of season already. That's
Yep.
crazy.
OTAs are starting. Organized team activities. In case you do not know what OTAs stand for. So super excited. This football is technically getting back into the swing of things for these professional players, and I'm super excited to see all the content that comes from this as well. So let's keep moving on. And I wanted to share this post as well because it covered a great topic that many people talk about when it comes to the draft, and that is the draft pick and the consensus draft pick. So the consensus draft pick is pretty much what the pundits kind of agree on what draft pick that player should go. So in this post right here, courtesy of Dove Kleiman, we have the biggest first round reaches in the last 5 drafts. What does that mean? That means the difference between your consensus pick and your draft pick is really high. So let's take a look at Cole Strange. He was drafted 29, but he was a consensus 76 overall pick. That means his difference was 47 picks. That's pretty huge. Let's get into some more names. Keelan Rutledge was drafted 26, but his consensus was 59 with a difference of 33 picks. Then you have Quay Walker from the Packers, drafted 22, consensus 51, difference of 29 picks. And Michael Penix and Bo Nix are tied for 4th with Jack Campbell in terms of their difference. Michael Penix was drafted 8, but he was a consensus 34 overall pick, but he had a difference of 26 picks. Bo Nix was a 12th pick, was a consensus 38th pick, and had a difference of 26 as well. Some other notable names on this list, you do have Jackson Dart, Tyler Smith, Jadarian Price, who got picked up, was the Notre Dame running back. Caleb Banks, James, that's one of the names I definitely want to mention, James. Caleb Banks was a Florida Gator now at the Vikings. You even jokingly... Yes, I was just about to say that you jokingly said the one-legged man, and I know you're definitely surprised, like with the consensus pick, because he was projected to go 37, but he went in the first round. So, Jane, what do you think they saw in Caleb Banks that made them take them despite the injury, despite everything going on with them that could be a tack on his resume?
Well, this is what happens when you fire your general manager for taking paternity leave. That's one. And then number 2, I can't even give him all the credit because if I remember correctly, he's the one that drafted that trash ass quarterback from Michigan as well. Like that's on par for Minnesota. Minnesota just doesn't give a fuck. Whatever you think Minnesota's going to do, they're going to do the opposite. And it doesn't make any sense. The Michael Penix and Bo Nix one, I want to defend the picks real quick. Quarterback, there was a run on quarterbacks. So what happens when there's a run and you feel that position is valued, you have to draft early if that's where you feel like you're going to go. Now, it's kind of worked for Denver. It hasn't worked for Atlanta. But like when you see quarterbacks, like let's say 3 quarterbacks go in front of you with the first 5 picks, you got to go and say, wait a minute, I pick here and then I don't pick again until later rounds. I'm gambling that person will not be available for me at that pick. So I have to reach. Typically that's for everybody, but definitely generally speaking, when there's a run on a certain position group. I ain't gonna hold you. Florida State before before Jameis came along, Christian Ponder was the highest drafted Florida State. He was the first ever Florida State quarterback drafted in the first round. And ain't nobody making him a top quarterback in Florida State history. He never won an ACC. The same thing with EJ the next year. There was a run on quarterbacks. As a matter of fact, ironically, Minnesota had to draft Christian Ponder, who was considered potentially a second or a third round pick, but that's the guy that they had number one on their board at that position, and they felt that they needed to go make that pick. So that's kind of how the draft works with teams when it comes to a reach for players.
We're going to keep on keeping on in this NFL section for you guys. We are almost done with this. And we have one last thing to touch up on before we get into our Big Games BS section. And it's a question for the host right here you see on the screen, James. James, we need your predictions for the 2026 division winners. So we're going to start off with the AFC and NFC North. Who do you predict will win that division?
Say Bengals, the Ravens are winning the AFC North, and I think the Lions are going to take back over the NFC North.
Now you have the AFC and NFC East.
Patriots, Eagles until further notice. I would not. Wow, how did you put the Giants? That's crazy.
Then you have the AFC and NFC South.
Jags, Buccaneers.
Finally, you have the AFC and NFC West.
Broncos and the Rams.
Those are the predictions for the 2026 division winners. And now we are at the Big Games BS section, where we're in the scope of the conversation outside the typical football world, but we're going to have some sports topics for you in this one. And you know we like to start off with our BS or Bussin' Food Review segment. And this one is going to be a little different for you guys, but kind of in that same ballpark like we normally talk about. And yes, I use that word specifically because we're going to be looking at MLB ballpark food and the Washington Nationals specifically. So according to the MLB, the Washington Nationals celebrated Hot Dog Day with actual hot dog fries. Now we need you guys to spam BS or Bussin' in the chat. Bussin' if you would eat this food item, BS if you think it's BS. But these are shoestring cut crispy fried hot dogs served in a little baseball hat with Chipotle ranch. Now, James, is the hot dog fries BS or Bussin'?
Just a hot dog isn't something I'm trying to savor, man. I'm just trying to get my fix in, man. I mean, if that makes sense. I don't need anything else when it comes to that. Like that, but that's BS in my opinion. But that's wild. Like life got you bad if that's what you ordering. Chopped up shoestring glizzies is not what I'm going to the ballpark to partake in. You eating the shoestring glizzy?
Yeah, I've definitely ate worse. So yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah, but you also have a younger stomach. Like right now, all that did was just make my stomach hurt.
Yeah, I would try it. It doesn't look too bad, and the sauce is Chipotle ranch, so it can't be that bad. Yeah, it can't be.
The sauce is probably where it's at.
Are you getting a burger today? Somebody in the chat asked James.
Yes, I am. I most certainly am. It's a a barbecue bacon burger today from what I saw. I'm going to partake in that. To look delicious. Last week's didn't look that great, so I had V's the pizza joint. They take the same of the brick oven. They cook the burger. Yeah. Yeah, it's like at first I'm like, man, why would I go there? But then you like sit back and think about it, you're like, yeah, it's pretty fucking good. Is it overpriced? Absolutely. But it is delicious. It's like $19.
Okay.
It's like they call it a special. It ain't nothing special about it. It's just a special because they don't do it. Oh wow, Luke was right. If I put $10 on that parlay, I can get $15K. The division winners. I might need to saddle on that one right there.
That would definitely be a cool bet to place. Definitely. Shout out to Hard Rock. But James, we got another BS. We got some BS we want to show everybody, and this is I don't know what to title it because we usually do OG Wildin', but it seems like it's like a system thing going on. So we're gonna say OG/system/NCHSAA Wildin' because we got a video of a runner from Mallard Creek's boys track team getting disqualified for doing something that was, quote, unsporting behavior and actions. So they were not able to get their third straight state championship because their squad was disqualified. More specifically, we got the video right here to show the egregious act that got him and them disqualified. In case you missed it, ladies and gentlemen, that was it. He put up his hand. He put up his hand to, I guess, denote that he was going to get ringed because they won the state championship, and they disqualified him for that. We're going to replay it again before we read the statement. You can see, put the hand up right there. Wow. And we got some news from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association Commissioner, Q Tucker, and he made a statement that says, quote, judgment decisions made by meet officials are done with the full knowledge of NFHS track and field rules, as well as rules and expectations of the NCHSAA relative to unsporting behavior and actions, unquote. We recognize there is deep disappointment experienced by the student athletes, coaches, and the school community involved. And I just want to repeat, Mallard Creek would have received a third straight state track title, but with the disqualification, they did not.
So the coach went on to say, like, that was apparently that kid who did that had been warned about something previously, and I guess that the notion that he did anything, and he did it before he crossed the finish line. So it was in the act of sprinting, like at the event. I still believe that this is the softest, for real, like, way to go out. Like you could have turned you could have turned a blind eye to that. He didn't throw up a middle finger. He didn't do anything egregious. He just put up his hand. And if that's unsportsmanlike, if that's if that's what ruins the self-esteem of another competitor, they probably shouldn't have made it to state. They probably should just stop in life. I think we over police in common sense situations, and then we under police in real situations that are really egregious, that are really dangerous to kids, that are really going to bother someone's morale. and we choose the things that are insignificant and did not matter, did not affect the race. For those who don't know, the 4x4 is the last event of the fucking day. Like, that was it. There were no other events. He was clearly had won that. It was in the bag. So, like, you have to explain to me how that action truly was disrespectful to anybody that was competing. Because that's what unsportsmanlike is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like when you have one of the most iconic sprinters of all time in one of the most prestigious events to ever be a part of, in the premier race, the 100 meter, we saw this man beating his chest and pointing to the sky as he crossed. And that's Usain Bolt, where he won the 100 meter by breaking a world record with other world record holders to his left and right. Like, you didn't just take away, like, that didn't, like, I don't really, like, care, but, like, about them winning 3 in a row as much as I care about, like, if you thought that kid was that bad, like, there was no fight, there was nothing. You just, and if what he did before was that bad, you shouldn't allowed him to participate the rest of the day.
They use the letter of the law to ignore the spirit of the law.
And this is why the youth don't trust the adults. When you don't, and the other part about, like I said, common sense. In games, I've seen people penalize guys for like the dumbest shit when they could be paying attention to the actual competition and protecting the kids that are on the field. And when the kids don't feel protected in sports, that's when they start going about things their own way.
Have some sad news coming from the NFL world. This man walked so coaches like Tony Dungy and Mike Tomlin could run and flourish. And it is sad to say that Sherman Lewis has passed. Sherman Lewis, one of the most drippiest assistants out there, who won 4 Super Bowl championships as an assistant coach, died this past Friday at 83. He was an All-American running back at Michigan State and Heisman finalist in 1963, and went on to become an NFL assistant for 22 seasons. Many people saying that he was the person that kind of kickstarted the Rooney Rule initiative, wanting to get, more black representatives in coaching. And I just want to say RIP to a legend. And he always had the drip on deck too. He always stayed fly, and man, had a long career in the football world, and he walked so many of the other black coaches and leaders on the field can run. So I just want to say huge RIP to Sherman Lewis, and blessings and condolences to the Lewis family.
Real good, coach. If you don't say anything about your pain, they'll think you enjoyed it. And what I mean by that is everybody says the Rooney Rule is racist, to reverse racism. And to be honest with you, people really don't understand linguistics. To say something is reverse racism, you must indicate that racism existed. Like you don't even know what you're saying. That's one. And then secondly, there is nobody. This man had how many Super Bowl rings as an assistant?
He had 4.
He had 4. He played the game. It was a Heisman finalist. You mean to tell me every job in the NFL, there was somebody more qualified than him every time when he was in his prime? It's like when you really step back and you digest some of this stuff, the reason why these rules exist, because if there weren't any rules, it's not stating that you have to hire somebody who's not, that's not qualified. It just states you have to at least acknowledge a motherfucker's qualified with the hopes that you hire him, because it's not even so much. Again, it's not so much that it's racist. It is, But racism is a power construct. So you have to acknowledge that there were rules. So there were rules that were put in place that would not allow for us to be able to hang out with each other and become friends. We didn't even get through a full fucking generation. As I stated, my mother was born in 1960. So she's the Civil Rights Act passed in 1965. So while she was young, she did not get a chance it didn't just pass and then magic pixie dust sprinkled into everything became equal. I am the first generation in my mom's line, my father's line, that was birthed with the entire rights of an American citizen. First. And before I even die, some of those things that were fought for are being actively retracted. You don't think that it might take, when there was laws for centuries that separated people, you think that only a few years is going to make all of that evaporate? That is very naive and a fairy tale that maybe made some people sleep at night. It's not a complaint, it's an observation. It's just not the way human nature works. But when you actively get opportunities to be able to move into neighborhoods, be able to experience people, there are people who hate black people that have never interacted with a black person outside of TV. There are black people who, in turn, don't really like white people because the only time they see white people is when they come in to arrest people. And a lot of other different things that manage. Like I always joke, I feel more American when I travel abroad than I do in America. But guys like Sherman Lewis are the reason why the Rooney Rule exists. And he still could. Eric Bieniemy, there isn't a person more qualified than Eric Bieniemy in the NFL, and this man couldn't even sniff a fucking job. Again, it doesn't mean that the white people they hire aren't capable, nor will they do a good job. It just means that sometimes you got to mix it up. All people want is the opportunity to fail. That says a lot. Like, we don't know if you can do a good job if you're never presented the opportunity to do a good job. Mr. Lewis it's been a lot of shitty coaches around. Mr. Lewis wouldn't have been the first or the last one if he was given opportunity.
That's all I had, James. Any last words to say to everybody in the chat as we close out Monday's episode of Big Games BS?
Really just appreciate everybody for coming in with me, man. It's a good I hope the year's coming strong for everybody else. Let's have a good week. Appreciate the likes, the shares, the subscriptions to the channel. I'll continue to hope we put out good product and good stuff, and hopefully my alma mater gets better at football, and we'll be able to have more positive interactions with that. But at the end of the day going in, and just make sure you check out mftkfoundation.com, all of those other different websites and channels to be able to help us with a lot of the different things that we have going on. But I know Miles isn't here, but outside of that, appreciate everybody for chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.